I don't get a phone call in the middle of this.
All right.
By the way, if you hear any background noise like a witch's laugh, farts, anything like that, it's all just out there in the house. It's not me. Okay.
That's going to be an excellent way to start the stream.
I know.
If you hear farts, just know that it's not me.
Yeah, it's not me. It's not me. It's one of the dogs. My mom's. Somebody around here. It's just whoever is around. That's not me.
Likely story. All right. Hey, everybody. We're live. Welcome to the Linux cast. My dog is crying outside the door wanting to come in. She can not do that. If we could get some yays or nays on the audio, this is me saying some words. Lots and lots of words. Tyler's about to say some words.
Words. This is words. Speaking words.
Okay.
How you guys doing?
I'm hoping that my audio is better than last week. Last week I was a little bit bassy, and here's my public apology to Josh for mocking him for saying that the audio was bad. I'm sorry, Josh. You were right. The thing is, I have unreliable people in the chat who always says, "Yeah, your audio is fine," and then all of a sudden I sound like an automatron.
Well, and also too, I'm pretty sure with when it comes to like live streams on YouTube, the compression doesn't help people being like, like detecting the fine details of audio.
If you're listening to this on like your phone or whatever, you're gonna get a lot different sound than if you're listening through $300 headphones.
Yep.
So yeah. So we're getting some yays. Audio is fine. Audio and video are perfect. Excellent. We're professionals.
110%.
I've become an audio engineer. That's not true. That's not even close to being true. That's really bad. We should just be lucky that I'm not using the webcam audio, because I did that for a video this week, and God, I was so mad at the end. Then I realized until the end, and then I listened to it. I was like, God, this sounds horrible. I really wish that the webcam makers would just let us save $10 and leave the microphone out. Like, seriously. Just give me the webcam. I don't need the microphone.
Well, the problem is if they're not going to make quality webcams, or I guess I should say high quality webcams, then they have to be able to throw in the shitty microphone and be like, well, why are you upset? Like, we gave you a microphone. Like, doesn't matter that you'll never use it, but we still gave you one. Like, you're welcome. Just, if you work at Logitech or a webcam company, just tell them to make good webcams. Damn it.
That'd be nice. And could someone at Logitech please just, seriously call Discord and tell them to do something, literally anything, about the green flashing?
Yes.
Like, please, we beg you. Like, literally, I would sign up for Nitro to get rid of the green flashing.
Oh my God, that is saying something. That's literally saying I'll pay $10 a month to get rid of green flashing. I'm kind of with you though. Like, it'd be worth it. It's so annoying.
Buy an SLR camera or a mirrorless camera. You guys don't want to see me in that high of quality. Plus, it's YouTube. By the time, that's one thing I don't understand. Like, Marquez Brownlee and Linus Tech Tips, they buy like hundreds of thousands of dollars in camera equipment and then put it on YouTube where there's compression and the highest you're ever going to view it in is 1080p. Okay, sure. Some people are doing 4K, but like, what, 10 people? Maybe 1440p, but they're recording in like 8K. Like, okay, first of all, nobody has the internet to stream 8K.
Yeah, no, hell no. Not even 6K. Like, you couldn't, like, no.
Like, most people don't have the bandwidth to stream 4K. There's a reason why you can't even select the actual resolution on the phone. Like if you go to the YouTube app on your phone, you can just choose from high, medium, and low. That's all you can do.
Mine lets me choose like custom or like advanced or something, and then I can select the like specific versions. But I probably also haven't updated my YouTube app in a long time or something like that, because I don't really stay on top of that kind of stuff. Also, speaking of like updates, like my Android phone has been begging for an update for like weeks now. I'm just like, nah, not yet.
I see that bug me. I always update my stuff. Always got to have the new shiny stuff.
If like I trusted my phone to update and it like be remarkably fast every single time, I would do it. But there's like, there's some updates that just, they take a bit, like couple minutes to like 4 or 5 minutes. And like normally if I'm looking at my phone, I want to get something done really quick. I'm not waiting another 5 minutes for it to update. Couple seconds, sure, but too often and not, it's way too long. Oh, I do need to get Audacity loaded up.
Oh, me too.
Like it opened.
There we go.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. I am using different layout where oh shit. Okay, Audacity is not installed.
It's not.
Give me just 1 second. I'm using my Steam Deck voice, okay?
Flat pack.
Give me a second. Come on, baby. Load up. Audacity. Let's see how long it's going to take me to spell this. Oh, good. I don't need to spell it all out. There we go. Installing. Sweet. Oh, yeah. So, like, using Dvorak it's not cohesive.
Dark Zero. How you doing, Dark Zero? How you doing, bud? Welcome to the chat. Jeff's in the chat. Ben's in the chat. Welcome, guys. I think Josh said he was going to show up, but yeah, you can't.
To the call. Like,
no, I think
it
was going to be in the live chat. I don't remember. He messaged me at like 3:00 this morning. I barely read it. I was just about ready to zonk. Anyways, welcome everybody to the live stream. Just so you know, if you were watching this past the time we're live streaming, we do put timestamps in the comments and in the video description on both YouTube and Odyssey, but they don't show up until around 8:00 p.m. Eastern time or so. That's when I come back to my computer to start editing and stuff. So if you want to skip past anything, you can do so, but the timestamps will be there eventually. We usually record this on Friday, so we're running a little bit of a day late. That's the reason why you get a special Saturday stream. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Did you get Audacity installed?
I believe so. It's using all the defaults. Let me do a little quick test record. This is me recording, making sure it's coming from the microphone. Yep, that looks good. That looks good. No, stop. There we go. And delete. I am ready to go, good sir.
All right, let's do this thing, huh? All right, I am pressing record on Audacity and making sure that I'm coming through the right microphone, which I am. Damn. And then I'm going to hit record in OBS, and you can do the claps whenever you like.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Not bad.
Oh, I didn't even hear your clap, so.
I think that's because they were like exactly the same. We're getting good at it, I think. I'm not. Also, forgive me for the arm, the boom arm. It's getting very squeaky. It needs some WD-40 or something. All right.
Same with mine.
All right, so welcome to the Linux Cast. We're going to get started. That's the end of the pre-show. It was very interesting. I'm sure everybody was very entertained. Okay, here we go. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Linux Cast. I'm your host, Matt.
And I'm Tyler.
Yes, he is. This is the Linux Cast. We talk about Linuxy things. It's an amazing podcast that you've probably just heard about because of our fame and fortune. I don't know where that came from. Anyways, we talk about Linuxy stuff, and that's what we're going to do today. Now, this is the first episode of our kind of revamped show format, show notes thing. Instead of doing a main topic, we're going to talk about news and stuff. So we have some really good news to talk about. So let's go ahead and jump in. But before we do, Tyler, what have you been doing in the world of Foss this week?
Kind of just enjoying the Steam Deck. So I'm going to be doing some stuff with Dvorak, and by going to, I've already started, but I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow because hopefully, fingers crossed, no crazy crap will go down. This weekend's been hella hectic, but hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit of a clearer day and I'll be able to do a little bit of a live stream like I've been wanting to do. But I'm going to do a Void Linux install and do that with Dvorak and set up and do a live stream, do all that stuff hopefully tomorrow. But I've been using Dvorak and messing around with my Steam Deck, and it's been pretty nice. I'm still slow as hell with Dvorak, which is not surprising, but fingers crossed it'll get better. And I've just been messing around. I started playing around with doing a Daisy local server on the Steam Deck, and so hosting my own private Daisy server and playing it on the Steam Deck together. It's pretty fun. It's pretty good. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I've been up to. What about you, man?
So we should talk about the Dvorak thing. So you were challenged by Josh, who is in the chat, by the way, to do the Dvorak thing, and I decided to do it with you. And so you lasted on it longer than I did. Congratulations. I did get faster than you, but I couldn't handle the shortcuts. And despite the suggestion of remodding different keys to do it, it's just easier for me to go back to QWERTY. So I went back to QWERTY yesterday. So I too have been spent the week with Dvorak, and there are many things to like about Dvorak. I mean, all the most popular keys on the home row is fantastic. It was really easy for me to pick up for a lot of things. But the mod keys like Control S and Control Z just wouldn't work. Not when I can't use the right mod keys. I just couldn't not get my fingers down there to do those comfortably. So I kept having to use the left mod keys, and the S and the Z are on the other side. So it became a two-handed mod operation, and it just was not something that I could pick up. But overall, it was a good experience. And it's made me think about using Colmac again because it doesn't move the S or the Z. So that's one thing that I did. But also, I've been spring cleaning, even though it's October. So I got a little confused, I guess. And it's not really like I've been cleaning my house or anything, although we've been doing that too. But I've been going through a lot of my directories and stuff on my external hard drive and getting a whole bunch of stuff out of there, kind of removing a whole bunch of data that I just don't need. That's why I've been messing around with that. Other than that, it's just been work. I had the urge a couple days ago to distro hop. I refrained from distro hopping. I was a good boy. But you wanted the funniest thing, the reason why I wanted to distro hop, or why the thought popped into my head, you're going to laugh your ass off. It's because I saw someone using GNOME. I was like, hey, that looks really cool. I swear to God, there's this. Somebody linked in my Discord a thing.
You're finally doing it. You're finally opening up. Share your true feelings.
You did predict that would happen. It didn't happen, but it almost happened. Well, the way he was using it, I was like, well, maybe I have been using GNOME wrong all of these years, and that's why I didn't like it. There's still some really stupid paradigms in GNOME. Don't get me wrong, but the way he was using, that looks really cool. I should probably try to
boys and girls. This is what we call flirting, and this is how the love affair starts. The public one. The private one's been going on for years now, but the public one, this is how it starts. I'm so excited for you, Matt. This is great. I cannot wait for you to fall in love with GNOME.
Okay, I'm gonna share this video that I watched that caused me to almost hop. I shared it in the chat, but anyways, yeah, that almost happened. I almost maybe I need to go use a GNOME distro for a little while. I wanted something a little bit different, but no. But I did think so. Like Fedora 37 is coming out like in 3 days or something like that. I think it's 25th. I think instead of doing an in-place upgrade, I'm going to do a fresh install and install the GNOME version again. I know, but like I told you, I've been doing this spring cleaning, and KDE installs just so much stuff. I'm trying to get rid of some of that stuff, and I just never use KDE. Like the only KDE app now that I use is Crusader. Like it's the only one. I'm not getting rid of Crusader, so that's gonna keep a lot of the dependencies on my thing. Also, I just need to rant about this for a second, but developers, stop including dependencies in your applications that they don't need. I'm not a developer, but there are some things that are blatantly obviously that you don't need in your app. So today I installed Thunar just to help out somebody who left a comment. And did you know that thing downloads basically everything that's XFCE? It downloads the panel. It downloads 4 or 5 extra things that why does it need the panel? It doesn't make any sense to me. Just to download a file manager. Like, I expect that from Nautilus. I don't expect that from a thing that comes with XFCE, okay? You know what I mean? It's just really weird for me. Anyways, yeah, that's what's been kind of happening in my world. I have a fascination with GNOME now. I don't think it's a good fascination. I doubt very much that I'm going to end up, actually using it, but I kind of want to use it. I don't know. It's
totally okay. Love can be scary at first. It's all right.
I doubt I leave a tiling window manager for it. I doubt it. All right. Anyways, moving on to the contact information. The contact information. I probably should write that shit down. Anyways, you can find all of our contact information at the linuxcast.org/contact. That's where you'll find all of our links and stuff like that. So if you don't want to listen to this part, you can skip ahead. Of course, you can't skip ahead right now if you're watching live because that part hasn't happened yet, unless you're like, time traveler or something. I don't know. I did not get enough sleep last night, so I'm just gonna be really fucking silly. Anyways, email at the linuxcast.org is where you can get in contact with us. I do read the emails. I do not reply to emails very well. So if you've emailed me and I haven't replied, you're not special in that I just don't reply very often and very well. So I apologize for that. Usually I just do them in batches like once a month. So I'm sorry. But I do read them when they come in because they pop up. I go read them and replying is just, oh man, I'm too lazy. I don't know. Anyways, you can also follow us on Twitter, Mastodon, all those links, the linuxcast.org/contact. Tyler is on YouTube. At youtube.com/ZanioG. He's also on Odyssey. I believe the username is the same. I'm not sure.
I would go ahead and say try to be on those platforms. It's a good way of saying
he makes the occasional video to to do things. You can subscribe to the Linuxcast at youtube.com/Linuxcast. Please do so. I appreciate that. And what else? I think that's it. I think that's the contact information. YouTube.com, or the linuxcast.org is the website where you'll find all of the latest and greatest podcasts that we do, all the way back to season 1, and also blog posts. I blog post once a week. So,
and I mean, I don't think anyone's given you credit as of late, but we all should. Congrats on getting the website up.
Okay.
It was so long that you were promising every single episode like it was going to be up, and now you haven't had to mention that because it exists for a long time. Like, that's awesome.
totally not my doing. Someone else did it for me. So yours did it for me.
Don't tell on yourself. Don't tell on yourself.
J-Dog gets the credit for that. I get the credit for maintaining it now, putting the stuff on there. But without him, okay, I should be fair to myself, because I did put the website up to begin with, but I was very bad at updating it because it required a lot of work. He totally redid it in 11D so that I was able to update it with Markdown and stuff, so it was way better. So, yeah. Thank you, J-Dog. I appreciate that. Anyways, I felt really guilty there for taking credit for, so I had to pop in there and say, just not my doing. All right. So before we move on, Zero Linux Official, check out Zero Linux. I almost fell for GNOME 2, even built a GNOME ISO of Zero Linux, but stuck on R42X. Seems that they will directly jump to R42 in Arch. Arch is skipping 43. All right, I don't understand that. But thanks for the super chat. That doesn't make sense. Does that make sense to you?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of Arch decisions that don't make sense, and no, I have no idea why they would do that. That makes no sense.
Manjaro might hold a package back, but I've never heard Arch, at least not a major desktop environment.
Yeah. Interesting.
Also, Josh, I don't know how I offended you. So I apologize if I did. I don't know what I said. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did. All right.
I don't even think you said anything to be offensive.
I mean, I'm sure I did, but yeah. All right. So, anyways, moving on to the main part of the show. We're moving into the news links of the week. Don't sing, Matt. It's bad. You're totally off tune and you can't sing a note. Don't do it. Okay. So, Tyler, what we're going to do is we'll go back and forth. You'll do one, I do one, you do one. So, which one would you like to do first?
I wish I could pick one of your links as my link, but I guess we'll start it off like dull and kind of boring with my Corsair PSU link. So, my article here is one from Phoronix, and it's about the Corsair HX 1500i power supply. And the reason we're talking about it is it's got Linux drivers now. And this article is very short, sweet. It's basically saying like, hey, guess what? Like some Linux drivers were added for some Corsair power supplies. Cool. However, it did make me think about something that is kind of an interesting discussion that doesn't need to be very long, but could be very interesting. What's your opinion on drivers being necessary for a power supply?
Why are drivers necessary for a power supply? You should just be able to plug them in and it should work, right? It'd be like it'd be like having to have drivers to plug something into a wall. You know?
Yeah, but also, why would you want anything with the features that would require a driver?
I think it's
on a power supply.
I think it's going to end up being because of the ability to like control the fan speed and stuff like that. And probably, I mean, come on, let's be honest. It probably has RGB, so you probably you probably get RGB controls in it. That's probably what they're talking about here. Also, Josh, what the hell, man? What are you doing? I hereby challenge Matt to switch to Sway for 3 months. Okay. I will.
You're to accept it?
Sure, why not? Sway was on my list of things to do, but technically Awesome Window Manager is next. So we'll talk about that offline. How we work that. But Sway is now officially happening next. All right. Anyways, the driver thing. I
like how you stopped. You stopped yourself from saying thanks, Josh. You're like, no, I'm not going to do that one.
I appreciate the super chat. I just was like $50 for that. I appreciate that. Just it could have been worse. He could have said something like, "You got to run Gentoo and rat poison," and then I would have banned him from my chat.
boys, everyone in chat, I need you to understand. He didn't even say GNOME there. He came up with rat poison. Like, GNOME's not even punishment anymore.
I would have happily used the GNOME.
Oh, how the world changes! It's great.
It's a horrible place to live when GNOME is an acceptable thing to be around. Anyways,
yeah. So back to power supplies and drivers. Like, yay, fun.
Well, anyways, that's what's
well. We're talking about a $400 power supply here,
which is a lot of money for a power supply. A ton of money. It's like four times more money than you would normally spend on a power supply. It also has a USB-C port. From what I'm looking at right now.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I guess, like, to boil down, like, my article, really, in all honesty, what I'd like to know is, does this kind of stuff make you worried that in the future we're going to end up with, like, the equivalent of power supplies working like Logitech or like Razer, like pretty much all peripheral brands, where like they have software that can do like really cool shit, but you can't use it if you're on Linux? It's like, but this creeping into things that like are inside of your computer. Like, not even peripherals.
It is a little worrying, but also just think about this. Even if you use Windows, can you imagine? Because everything that you have to install a driver for has to be running in the background as you run your computer most of the time. Like, that's almost universally true. So like the Synaptics Manager, if you use a touchpad, that thing's running in the background. It has a system tray icon all the time. The Bluetooth drivers usually have a icon in the, I mean, gotta remember, this is back when I used to use Windows, so they may have changed it by now. I don't even know. But can you imagine having to have a sys tray icon for your power supply unit? I mean, the world we're living in, it's really silly. All right, moving on to the next one. I'm gonna choose Firefox View. Okay, so Firefox View, if you are on a distribution that allows you to update to the latest version of Firefox, which is most of them outside of Debian, which uses the ESR version, you probably got I think it's version 103, I think is the number. I'm not actually sure about that. Don't quote me. But anyways, new update to Firefox, and their key feature this time is a pin tab that shows up on the right hand side. I'm showing this on screen where my Bitwarden icon is. But they put a Firefox icon up there, and it's now a tab page. You click on it, and it shows you all of your open tabs on other devices, but also advertisements for Firefox products. So yeah, it is something that you can dismiss easily. All you gotta do is right click on it and click remove, which is nice. If that had been like Google, it would have been there permanently. So win there. But it's a little weird.
See, this is what me and you talk about all the fucking time. How much development time was put into this feature that could have been put in to other shit that matters more?
Yeah. So I'm on the screen. I'm showing what Firefox View looks like, and as you can see, it has a big advertisement along the side for colorways, which is the themes that they are. It's the thing that pops up now that lets you choose the accent color for Firefox. Like, because we haven't had themes for 20 years. They kind of have something new. Grab tabs from your mobile phone or tablet. Get Firefox on mobile. Recently closed. And tab pickup, which is open pages from other devices. And this thing is pinned by default when you have this version of Firefox. And like I said, the good news is that it is removable. Like, you can get rid of this thing. Like, you don't have to have it. But it's one of those things, like, why? What? I'm not sure what this brings, that you can already get. Now, yes, a lot of the stuff they buried, like, this is the weird thing for me. A lot of this stuff that they put on this Firefox View page is stuff that they not removed, but buried before. So like the open stuff on other devices. That used to be front and center in the hamburger menu on Firefox. Like you could click on the hamburger menu and say, hey, other tabs on other devices. Now they've buried it, and it's in the hamburger menu, and then you got to click on your account, and then you got to click on tabs on other devices, and then you can find it. So it's like 3 menus down. But then they decided it was also important enough to create their own tab page, which is really weird, and they're forcing it on people, which is also really weird. And they put it in, the weirdest thing for me is they put it in a place where if you are using a custom user chrome.css, it pops up in a spot that is just weird. Yeah, Firefox View.
When your company is dying, or not company, but when your company's flagship product is, quite frankly, dying and begging for users outside of the Linux distro, like, this is pre-installed shit. Like, beyond that, like, it is dying and it's losing users by the second. Just stop coming up with new... It's like the burger shop in the middle of your town where over the past few years, their burgers have just gotten shittier and shittier, and to, like, freshen things up and bring people in, they keep, like, remodeling the store, but they keep making the same shitty burgers. Like, fix the reason why people are leaving Firefox. And I don't think anyone's leaving Firefox because their Firefox, like, desktop and mobile versions are out of sync, or you just can't tell which one's got which on it from the other.
They are definitely leaving it because of the mobile version, but not because of this. The mobile version is just fucking awful. You should not use it. It is so bad. I have
it on my phone. I use it for one single purpose and one purpose only. That is porn while traveling. Why? Because Firefox on the phone is a dumpster fire, and all of my porn I want thrown in a dumpster fire when I'm done.
Well, that went a direction that I never thought it was gonna do.
But see, this is why people come to this show. It's honest, okay?
Yes, like, indeed.
Look, stay away from the Firefox mobile version. It's terrible.
It's so bad. There's just so many things that are wrong with it. So they redid the Android version last year, maybe the year before, and like, oh, this is going to be the mobile update that you were looking forward to. Like, no, it's not good. It's not better than it was before. And it now, like, so one of the things that I use my phone for is to read, like, online stories, like sometimes books, things like that. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, a lot of those things have, like, really long chapters. So when you pause in the middle of one, you're in the middle of a spot, and you go do something else or whatever, because you're not going to spend your whole day reading the damn thing, and you close you just go around doing your business. You come back to it. Firefox will not remember your position because it almost always clears itself out of memory. Now, some of this is Android, especially Samsung. Samsung will not let you pin a browser to memory. So, like, a lot of times you can force things not to close. With Firefox or any other browser, you can't. It's just stupid.
We do have to give Firefox that one there, because I can say that is not their fault.
Yeah, but it just drives me nuts that, I mean, remembering position is not that hard. It's been done many times on the desktop. Like, Firefox on the desktop can do it. So I don't understand why the mobile version can't do it, especially on Android where they have full control. Like, they're using their own engine and everything. On iOS, at least, they can blame the fact that they have to use Safari. So I don't know. Mobile browsers in period just kind of are terrible, but there's a reason why on mobile Chrome is the ruler, is because it's way better than the Firefox version. It's just so bad. All right. moving on to the next one. Tyler, which one did you want to go with next?
Well, since we were speaking of bad things, let's go with the hackers who use Linux ransomware to attack Russian organizations. Kind of interesting. All right, look, regardless of how you feel about conflicts across the world that probably don't even affect you in any way, meaningful way. Let's, at least right now. But anyway, let's stay on topic. Okay, so apparently Old Gremlin, which is like they're like a nerdy gang that like they're a ransomware group, but come on, if you're going to create like a ransomware group and like you're just going to do bad shit, or at the very least questionable shit, don't name yourself Old Gremlin. Like, come up with a badass name. Like, okay, come on. But anyway, so they have apparently done about 16.9 million in ransom attacks on. I'm going to assume most of this is towards Russia or Russian, related stuff, but they're making it specifically to target, not specifically, but they are using like Linux ransomware attacks, which I just think is so awesome, because now we've hit the point where we're starting to become a target, which is awesome. Like, and this is kind of interesting to read, just in kind of the multiple different ways that they've come up with attacking Russian organizations. And it's just, it kind of gives you a little perspective that there's groups of people out there that are like really good at hacking shit, and eventually Linux, desktop Linux, will catch these people's attention. It's a little scary. So yeah, some fun ransomware on the Linux side of things. Fun stuff.
Interesting tidbit. It was written in Go. And why are we not surprised? Of course it's written in Go. Come on, man. Yeah, I look. The thing is, when it comes to this stuff, like, I don't. Should we be cheering this on? Because eventually they're going to point this at someone else. But also,
exactly, that's the real problem. It's like it doesn't matter how you feel about it or like how they're using it right now. It's like, but most of these things get copied.
Yeah, I mean, think about. I'm going to use this opportunity to rant for a minute. When it comes to ransomware, the vast majority of this stuff gets on your machine because you clicked on a link in your email. Don't click on links in your email. Just don't. I don't care if you're using Linux, Windows. Don't click on links in your email ever.
And stop downloading memes off of Discord or
Yes.
wherever else. Like, just stop.
Like, unless you know absolutely sure you know exactly what you're clicking on, don't click on it, because it's.
But even then, that's hold on. Like, let's be honest with people here for a second. If you're going to download something that someone sends to you, you need to download it from a nerd. Like I wouldn't say like us, but preferentially like people who are like us in that they like technology and stuff, but they're professionals and like they work in security. Sure, when that dude sends you a funny meme, it's probably safe to download. Even if you trust the other person, don't just download their picture, because they could have gotten a virus or ransomware and it's just not activated yet, and they're sharing it with you. So, like, just don't do that. Just, like, look at the funny picture on the app and go, ha, 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 and move on. Like, don't download it and save it.
It makes you wonder why we haven't come up with a containerized email solution. So, like...
Good point.
Like, containers are all the rage. Why don't we have a native email client that does... Anytime you click on a link, opens it up in a container. Like, it doesn't have access to anything other than its surrounding environment. It just makes complete sense. Now, obviously, that's going to come to Windows. It's not, but I mean, but it seems like something that a Linux developer would want to get into too. But the thing is, like I talked about this in a video earlier this week. The native email client system situation on Linux is horrible. And because most people don't use a native Linux client, they just use webmail, and that's where so you can't really do the containerized thing in a browser tab. So that's probably the reason why it hasn't happened. But it just makes so much sense to me. Like, we have containerize this stuff, and it would, especially in like a corporate environment where they use, like, seriously, Outlook has like everything under the sun. Why does it not have its own like built-in browser that's in a container that can't be it doesn't have any of these flaws? It doesn't make much sense. I mean, for enterprise,
I think we might have just given Mozilla a way to save their fucking business.
like
just make Thunderbird just open up, make Thunderbird be its own containerized environment where whenever you want to interact with a link or anything on the internet, it's got like a built-in Firefox browser that's completely containerized. Can't do shit on your system.
Right.
Boom.
Barely has access to the internet. Yeah. Maybe even build in like the image filtering thing. Like if you get an email that has images in it and it says, these images are not showing up for security purposes, have that inside the browser so no images show up without you actually having to press a button. Not only would it make it faster, but also would, a lot of this stuff comes in through image files. So, also can't download anything. Like, seriously, just make it so it can't download anything. This does not seem to be like, if my dumbass figured this out. Also, just don't click on links. Don't click on links. I know how interesting it is to get a cat video from this random person on the internet that you met on Facebook. But you probably shouldn't click on the link.
But Matt, you don't understand, man. The cat was just so cute. Like you're just not getting it.
God. All right, so there is random tangent, but I use TikTok. It's horrible of me, I know. But there's so much. So there is the stuff you hear about on TikTok that gets all the bad news, like kids doing stupid shit and daring each other to do stupid shit. There is that. But there's also there's like a baby red panda account that I follow. That thing is so adorable. Like, seriously, it's so cute. Anyways, I would click on the link for that. I'm just saying, I wouldn't care if I got malware if I got to see the video. It's so good. Okay.
So what's your next article?
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking next about Ubuntu Pro, because this blew up big this week. So, and for a couple reasons. So, first of all, what is Ubuntu Pro? It's been around for a while. It basically allowed enterprises to pay Canonical to add extra support to their long-term releases. And this was available for enterprises for a long time, but now, in a push to make the desktop more relevant, they are giving this to consumers. You get, if you can do this on up to 5 computers for free, and you get an extra, I think it's 10 years of support, starting with Ubuntu 16.04. So if you are one of those people who just does not want to update their system ever, you can do this. But it's like, if you run, or even it's more likely if you run like a home lab, you have a Ubuntu server on there and you don't want to update it because reasons, you can get security support on that for an extra 10 years. The thing that pissed a lot of people off, of course, is because Canonical just couldn't do something good. Right, this is a good thing, right? They had to ruin it.
They had to sprinkle some bad on there.
They had to put an advertisement in the terminal when you didn't update. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
There's an advertisement.
Let me see. I actually think that I can find this link. It was on. I think it was on OMG Ubuntu.
Dude, fuck me. See, this is how developers are going to end up ruining Linux. Where, like, the brilliant idea is like, let's just stop asking people for donations and struggling for money. Let's just start putting in advertisements in system updates.
Yeah, so if you run sudo apt disk upgrade on Ubuntu, even if you don't have anything to update to, it says receive additional future security updates with Ubuntu Pro. Learn more at Ubuntu Pro about Ubuntu Pro at this URL.
That's not nearly as much of an ad than I was thinking. I was thinking like you're going to get some like Charmin like toilet paper shit.
Well, no, it's just, I mean, obviously they were doing it for their thing, but it's in the terminal. Like you expect that, you'd expect like a pop-up or whatever when you did I don't know. It pissed a lot of people off. I don't use Ubuntu, so I don't care. But I don't know. It's a little weird.
I mean, it's not that to me. Like, I don't see this as some like egregious shit, but this is a canonical move. Like, even when they don't like screw up bad, they do good shit and make it to where they give an opportunity for people to just like freak out.
Right. So, I mean, you gotta remember, I don't care about this whatsoever. So I'm not trying to. Of course, I am trying to feel the flames because it's fun, but I'm not the one that's that. But the thing is, like, Ubuntu did something good, Canonical did something good, but Canonical also doesn't seem to realize that they're the most criticized company in this ecosystem, right? They're the company that gets the shit for everything that they do, no matter what, no matter their intentions towards whatever they do. They are always getting this, they're always getting criticized for stuff, even if there's nothing to criticize, right? They had to have known that this little thing that pops up in the terminal, and as Josh says, it's apparently just one time, it was going to catch attention, right? Like
that was the goal of it too. It's like, hey, check us out here.
Right. Maybe any bad coverage is good coverage. I suppose that's true, and it's not like this is really bad, but it's just like.
But I mean, if we're being honest, like most bad press that Canonical has gotten has only made them more notable. And like, it's not like the people who aren't using Ubuntu really aren't doing it just because like, oh yeah, I've heard Canonical's a devil. It's like, no, that's not really it. It's like, they probably have a good reason for not using it. Like Linux Mint looks really cool, so I just went with that. Like that's probably why. Before I forget, because I did notice this in the article, and this is pretty interesting. Ubuntu Pro has a whole bunch of compliance management tools. So through Ubuntu Security Guide or whatever, but they have a tool so you can get a whole bunch of different cryptographic packages so that you can comply with FedRAMP, HIPAA, and like PCI DSS related work. I have no idea what that is, but I definitely know what HIPAA is and FedRAMP. So like it's kind of cool. So like if you're looking to, like as a business, like you've got a big business maybe that does like medical work or anything like that, Ubuntu Pro is not just an option. It's heavily advised one.
Right. Plus, if you're like a really small business, because you get 5 computers, you can do this for free, right? Mm-hmm. And that's pretty cool. You don't really see. I think. Well, I was gonna say you don't see like Red Hat doing this, but Red Hat has a free support tier as well for RHEL. I'm not sure what the details on that are, but I remember seeing that they do have something like that. I don't think that it is as generous as this, but I could be wrong. But the question that I have is, does this move the needle on Linux at all? Like, is this something that's going to bring in people to use Linux? Like the way that a lot of these articles,
but hold on, I will go ahead and say this. I think most likely this will incentivize some companies to come over to Linux just because like it's pretty easy. Like, I mean, most servers, like most IT people are used to using an Ubuntu server. Like that's definitely happened. I mean, I'm not even a professional and I've used Ubuntu servers many times. So like, I don't think that's going to be that hard, but with all the extra features that Ubuntu Pro has for like businesses in it, it probably is going to incentivize some like smaller, maybe mid-sized companies to try it out and start using that, which only incentivizes more people to use Linux down the line because there will be jobs available, in it.
Yeah.
So,
personally, I'm confused by not what Canonical did, but by how this was covered in a lot of places. Like, this still feels like, even though they're doing this for like the desktop version of Ubuntu, this feels more like an attempt to gain business support, like for bringing in very small businesses into Ubuntu who run just like maybe one or two servers or just one whatever, and they want to run Ubuntu desktop along with it, right? This doesn't feel like, oh my God, Canonical cares about the desktop again. This doesn't feel like that. I mean, maybe because all right, most Ubuntu desktop users, I'm generalizing here, but most of them probably update from LTS to LTS. So they go from 2004 to 22.04 when it comes out, or if once the point release comes out, then they move on. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't think that the vast majority of, I'm sure there are people out there who just leave their laptop on 1604, but it seems that's probably pretty rare, right? On a like a desktop system, like on a server, it makes tons of sense. On a laptop or a desktop computer, unless that system's like really, really old and it can't support some of the new stuff, I'm not like, why aren't you just updating? I guess I don't understand those people. I'm having some kind of cognitive. I'm having a stroke. I just don't see the reason why you wouldn't. But you got to remember, I guess for me, it's not just my personality. I like having something that's at least close to being as updated as possible.
And there's definitely going to be those people who, like, as soon as their system works, they never update. Like, a good example would be there's still people out there using Windows XP.
That's true.
Other than just the North Korean government.
Right, but
actually, they've moved on. They made their own Linux distro. So
that's the reason why I think that this makes more sense for like business. Like businesses, of course, they're going to leave their machines on the oldest version. They don't want to update their stuff and stuff like that. That makes sense. Even their workstation stuff like that. That stuff stays on the oldest version of Windows or Linux as much as possible. For like personal desktop users who own their own computer, I would bet money that the vast majority of them update faster than businesses do. So they're going to move from LTS to LTS.
Yeah.
So this Ubuntu Pro, I don't think it really moves the needle in terms of desktop support. For businesses, it makes a ton of sense, and for small businesses, it probably does, push some people towards being able to use Ubuntu because they're going to get support for longer. But for regular people, I'm not sure. First of all, they're not. As somebody said in the chat, and I'm sorry I forgot your name. Most people aren't going to see this quote unquote advertisement because they don't use the terminal anyways. They're going to update from GNOME software. So,
look, that's true. And also, someone else said it doesn't really look like an ad, to be honest. And it's like, to me, it's not really that big of an ad. However, knowing that we've just talked about like ads and like you could just give a user an ad as like a Foss like piece of software, it's not a good precedent to set because we're going to have some more how do you say I don't give a fuck people be like, well, I could just like throw in some ads like some Charmin toilet paper or like hand sanitizer ads and just shove that into an ASCII art ad and throw it at you in the terminal. Hell, even the console, if you're in the console, like it's not a good precedent to set where we're like, as long as it doesn't look like an ad, it's okay.
Well, plus, usually the output from a command like that is reserved for stuff that's related to the command itself, right? The output of the command. So if Canonical has chosen to do this with the Ubuntu Pro stuff, what are they going to do with it next? You know what I mean?
Well, that's fucking hilarious to think about for a second. Like you're typing away in the console, you're like add update. You press enter, and then just like you've got
Amazon
what's the girl's name?
links.
Yeah, like or like Flo from like Progressive or whatever it is, like those ads, and she's like, "Hello."
You got the Geico gecko there.
Yeah. You're like, what the hell is going on?
All right, yeah. I don't think it's gonna get that. I don't think they're ever gonna do anything with it. But it just, you're right. It does make us think like, maybe they're gonna do something else with this space. You know, what else are they gonna put there? Are they gonna, whatever?
Fingers crossed we're wrong and this future is just completely ridiculous. But I don't know. It's a publicly traded company and like money. So,
okay. So that is that one. So Tyler, your next one, your last one, I should say.
Last one is PaperDE, and I'm going to piss some people off by saying it like that because it is spelled PaperDE, but I'm just going to call it PaperDE, literally only because I know it will really upset probably 5 of you watching. Everyone else is going to be like, I don't give a shit, doesn't matter. It sounds fun and cool to me. PaperDE. Again, just want to rub that knife in to whoever that upsets. Again, I'm sorry about that. I'm just having a good time. PaperDE is a simple and touch-friendly desktop environment for, and we've kind of been seeing more of these like roll out, or at least come out. Like Jing OS was another one, but essentially, a lot of people are now trying to make touch-friendly, more tablet kind of friendly desktop environments, which I think is a great idea because I want to use something like this on the Steam Deck because KDE is fine, but one of these would make way more sense. Like something that's just more designed for a touch screen when I don't want to use, a desktop environment that I'm more used to.
Someone asked, is PaperDE built on GTK? The answer is that is no. It's a Qt based environment that is running in Wayland and Wayfire. So it's Wayland purely, and it's very much for touch. It's got very big buttons all over the place. I'm showing it on screen if you can't see it now. Of course, if you're listening to the audio version of this later, you're very thankful that I'm showing this on screen because you can really see it. You just picture it in your brain. Really big buttons. It's like the application drawer kind of looks like the GNOME drawer, just a little bit. So big buttons, and there's like a bar along the side that looks like the KDE Plasma panel. Kind of, a little bit.
But yes. It does. I think we should clarify. It is like it looks obviously like it's a very early stage project, because they don't really seem to have their own kind of coherent style. I don't know how to say that right. It looks like they're just now getting to a point where they can really do the fine work and like fine tune it. Like it's kind of what the pictures that they've showed off. Obviously, I haven't tried it out yet, but from the pictures and everything that I've seen from it, it looks like they've finally gotten all the hard work done on getting it functioning and working right. And now they're just in that kind of phase of fixing bugs and fine tuning the design and everything for it. So I think this is kind of an exciting project. Like, I think we're going to need more of these.
I disagree. They're using a lot of KDE stuff here. So it looks like they're using Dolphin. It looks like they're using the KDE settings panel. It looks, at least they're using the settings panel icon from Plasma. When it comes to mobile, and it looks like they have Cavantum here. So this is supposed to be touch friendly, right? That's what it's supposed to be, right? Is for touch. I'm guessing they're aiming more towards touch laptops than mobile, from what I've seen. Because if like, okay, so you gotta remember, I love Plasma, but I don't know if I'd want all that stuff on my mobile phone. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this has to be for like a laptop.
I highly, from everything that I've heard, this is more for like tablets. Like that's the idea behind it. But that's kind of the thing though that makes it difficult, because if you're going to make something for a tablet, it should probably also be pretty user friendly on a phone as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. First of all, Plasma is already responsive towards all that stuff. So it's kind of like GNOME in that. It's like if you crunch down the applications, they usually look mobile, so at least some of them, right? Because they're co-developing them to actually work on phones. But also, my overarching thing is like, do we really need another desktop environment? Do we really need one?
That is something I hadn't even started to think about, but you bring up a damn good point.
Maybe it's good. Maybe they'll be able to bring in some development for Wayland and Wayfire and stuff like that kind of advances that, because that obviously needs it, and that would be good. We need
special sauce there.
Right.
I could not agree with you more.
Maybe some of the development will float upstream to Plasma and Qt and stuff like that, and it will work fine. It'll be a good thing to exist. The thing is that we've seen this before. Like there's a, I think it's the Numix OS. Numix, I think is the. It uses a Qt thing, and they're completely redoing everything. Like they have a brand new file manager, it's called Index or something, and they've been developing it for a long time now, a couple of years. And you use this thing, and it's 2 years later, and it still feels very, very alpha. And you just get this sense of like, why, like why, I've become this guy now that I always look at something like, why does this exist? Why do we need more of this? And like, it's not as if there's anything wrong with it. I just want to invent whatever you want to do, redo whatever you want to do. That's the way of the open source world. I'm fine. But I still, I want to know why. I'm like that 2-year-old kid's like, yeah, but why? But mom, why? Yeah. Why? Why does this exist? I don't what's the purpose of it? Like, it's for touchscreens, okay, but you're just making. I mean, you've basically made KDE, but with bigger icons.
I mean, that's kind of the issue with like most tablet distros nowadays. Is GNOME's gotten to a point. GNOME is making the argument that GNOME is not tablet friendly. It's pretty fucking hard. I mean, it's got big icons, big bars, has gesture support. So, I don't know. I mean, it's just really the only argument. A different one would be well, I just don't like GNOME or KDE, whatever.
Well, I mean, it would make sense to me if they called it KDE but with touch support or something. Like if they were trying to actually make KDE that exists, like KDE Mobile, Plasma Mobile exists, but if they were actually just trying to make Plasma more touch friendly for tablets, that makes sense to me, kind of. But to make a whole brand new thing, it seems weird to me. But more power to them. That's what's great about the open source community. You can do whatever the hell you want. It doesn't have to make sense to me.
That's kind of the good thing. We can disagree with you all we want to, and no one has a problem. It's okay.
I'm sure the guy who just called us Yahoos on Twitter is probably calling us Yahoos again. That was an interesting tweet. I should read that because I just got that tweet just now. He says, where is this thing? Where I don't actually see it. Oh, there it is right there. Just listening to the October 1st podcast, I got a good laugh listening to these two yahoos crapping all over Ubuntu and Canonical, and then going on to recommend Pop! OS as the default desktop candidate. Hey, in our defense, we, I don't know. We don't have a defense.
I don't really think we have to defend that. Pop! OS is Canonical. Sure, it's downstream from Ubuntu, but it's not like we didn't know that. And also, I don't normally get called a Yahoo, so I enjoy that one. That one's at least got some spice to it. I like it.
Yeah, I don't even remember what we talked about on the October 1st podcast, so that's how memorable.
Well, apparently we talked about Ubuntu and shit all over it, and then said you should use Pop! OS.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the last link of the week.
This one's interesting.
So this is the thing. So Tyler is a big fan of Zero AD, and someone in their infinite wisdom stole Zero AD and put it on Steam. Now
it was not me. Okay, I swear to God, boys, it was not me.
So not much to the story. Basically, someone took Zero AD, which is free to do. Like, you can do this. Like, you can upload
everything that they did is legal. Let's be honest,
except for one thing.
Well, yes, one minor detail.
They uploaded it as the developer. They took the developer's name and used that on Steam. That's where they went wrong. If they used their own name, like a made up name, this would have been perfectly fine. There would have been nothing to go wrong with it. It still would have been kind of sleazy. Taking the exact binary, uploading it, and selling it for money would have been sleazy. But at least you weren't trying to scam people by saying, "Hey, this is the actual developer uploading it to Steam," and trying to sell for money. So yeah, it's not a great look for whoever did this. But the thing is that I still don't think that there's anything that Steam is going to end up doing about this.
Well, other than just removing it from the platform, I have a feeling that people are going to I'm pretty sure most people have already tried to get in contact with Steam or let them know that this is a problem. Yeah. And so I don't really think that this is going to go any further than getting removed off of Steam. However, I do think it would be absolutely hilarious if this thing just keeps happening, because there's almost no checks and balances on Steam's side to keep you from doing this. And people have been asking the Zero AD devs to put their shit out on Steam for a while now. So this might end up being something that just kind of propels the actual... And I'm not saying people should do this. Like, if you want the developers to put it on Steam, tell them. They're the guys behind, like, Zero AD. They're not, like, utter douchebags and just don't talk to people. Like, try messaging them, try getting your point across. But like, this might be something that gets them to where they finally put Zero AD as early access or whatever on Steam. Hopefully for free, but honestly, I really don't give a shit. If they want to put it on Steam, like, I love Zero AD. I've played the shit out of Zero AD. If they put it on Steam, I'll buy it for $5. I don't give a shit. Like, yeah, like, they've done a great job with the game.
I don't think that they're gonna. I don't think that they would charge for it because they're kind of proud of it being free.
Yeah.
I think part of the reasons why they care about this is because the person is charging €8 for it. So
yeah. Well, and also claiming to be them,
right?
Which that's just bad.
Those are the two things,
like,
right?
PR.
So this was happening in the Microsoft Store for a while too, and it's probably still happening. Is that people uploading like GIMP and Krita and stuff like that to the Microsoft Store and then charging for it. And not only charging for it, but charging a lot of money for it in some cases, like $200. Like, no, okay. And some of them were like claiming to like, oh, we improved GIMP or something like that because we changed the icon. It was dumb, but that's you're right. This is probably going to happen more and more with Steam. The question is, do we see any like policy changes on Valve's part? I don't know. It'll be interesting because like Steam doesn't have a real, like, they do a lot of good stuff for Linux and stuff like that, but their like open source support for actual games doesn't seem to be existent at all. Like, what I mean? It's like when you go to a Steam page, it doesn't say, hey, this is under an open source license or something. There's no place for that. Yeah. I don't think.
I don't think Valve talks about licensing at all with the games.
Yeah. Maybe this kind of thing spurs that, you don't know. But whoever did this, stop being such a sleazeball, dude. At least change your name. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's literally the only real problem with what he did. Like,
I mean, you still shouldn't go buy it for €8 from someone who's not the developer.
Yes, I think that should go without saying. You shouldn't buy something that's free, but also at the same time, the guy who uploaded it pretty much didn't do anything wrong. Like, right.
If you have €8, give the developers €8 and still download it for free. Yeah, the actual developers,
not random
of the game.
Dude.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting world we live in now, I guess.
Yes, it
where
is.
anybody can upload to Steam and just claim this shit that is theirs, and then use the same name as the developer, which is just mind-bogglingly stupid. So yes, that is the end of the news. The news. Don't sing, Matt. Bad.
Oh, it was good. It was good.
I can't sing with a damn. All right, moving on to the thingies of the week. So this is the end of the show where we talk about interesting things. In case the stuff we just talked about wasn't interesting, but things that we found interesting, applications, tips, things like that. Tyler, you don't actually have one in the show notes. I don't know what's going on there.
Yes, because I was going to fill it out, but then realized that I couldn't remember where in the frack. I can't remember which key it was. It was either C or D or something like that. But I couldn't find one letter, and so I was just like, screw it.
So anyways,
I didn't fill it out.
The thingy of the week. Tyler, what is your thingy of the week?
Mine is Mango HUD, which is, like, if you're unfamiliar, it's kind of, I think I've talked about it in one of the recent episodes, maybe, I'm not sure, but Mango HUD, it's a fantastic application for specifically gaming, but I mean, you could use it with other things, but mainly it's for gaming. And it's the little like HUD that you see up in like the top left hand corner of people who are playing games, like where it's got a frame counter and tells you how much CPU usage, GPU usage, and all that shit. It's all that. Pretty much, if you're like gonna be gaming on Steam or just kind of gaming in general, check it out. It's fantastic. It's really awesome. So yeah, that's what my thingy of the week is.
Excuse me, I had a cough. I had COVID there for a second.
Well, I'm glad it's gone.
Mango HUD is good if you game. I don't game, so I don't have Mango. You notice I still haven't went and bought a Steam Deck now. So
yet, yeah, I know. Well, I mean, it's just that gaming addiction's got to start, and then you'll be on board.
I could use GNOME on my Steam Deck.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So my thingy of the week is application that I actually made a video about this week. Is called LazyGet, and it is really good. It is a TUI interface for Git, and it basically allows you to see everything that has to do with your repo in one place in the terminal. So you get to see all of the files that have been changed, and you can stage them from there. It shows you the branches. It shows you anything that you have stashed. It shows you the history of your commits. So if you wanted to like revert to a different commit, you could reverse and rewind and stuff like that. And then the most powerful part of it also shows you the diff right there in front of you. So as you go through and, cycle through the files and stuff like that, it'll show you the things that have changed in each file, which is really nice. And it's all in one place right in front of you. You don't have to enter files or anything like that. You could also edit everything right from there if you wanted to. So that's LazyGet. It's really, really cool. So yeah. On the Steam Deck video, please. Is that what you were doing your thing about?
No, I just noticed that you've got just my webcam up on the screen, and so, I just decided to test to see if you on what level you were paying attention, because
I stopped looking at OBS, and I was looking at the Discord screen, so I apologize for that. I wasn't actually showing LazyGet, so it doesn't really matter. So don't worry about that. You guys didn't want to see me anyways. Tyler's much prettier.
Yeah. Well, I almost said yeah to that.
you can agree. It's all right. Anyways, yeah. So LazyGet, check it out. It's a very good. There's also a Vim plugin if you wanted to use it in Vim. So check that out as well. So that's LazyGet, and that's the thingies of the week. So that is the end of the podcast for this week. Now, we record this live every Friday between 3 and 3:15 p.m. Eastern time. You'll notice
strictly on Friday.
Yeah,
never
do this on Saturday. We've never done it on a Saturday, and if you think that we've done it on a Saturday, you're hallucinating and you should seek medical help.
And we will ban you if you start debating us about it. It's never happened.
This is definitely not Saturday. This is definitely Friday. You guys just don't know how to tell time. It's okay. Sounds like you guys need a producer. We don't. I'll get right on that. I'll just hire myself a producer.
Yeah, it's like, who wants to work for some crackers?
Anyways, normally we record this live every Friday between 3 o'clock and 3:15 Eastern time. We go for around 2 o'clock. So if you want to watch live, the linuxcast.com, linuxcast.com. I can't talk anything. YouTube.com/linuxcast is where you'd find us live. Subscribe so you don't miss the notification. Hit the little bell icon, all that stuff. Before we go, I should take a moment to thank my current patrons, all these fine people. Thanks to everybody who does support me at patreon.com/linuxcast. You guys are all amazing. Without you, the channel just would not be anywhere near where it is right now. We just went over 22,000 subscribers, which is just seriously mind fucking blowing.
Congrats.
It's nuts. Still not over my jealousy over other people having more subscribers, but that's apparently something that just can go away. It's dumb. It's dumb to be jealous over other YouTubers, but it happens. Like somebody who started way after you that now has 40,000 subscribers, just like, I make better videos than this person. Why are they getting all the attention? Why aren't you guys watching my videos? It's really, I mean, certain. There's that little voice in my head like,
hey, really, well, that voice drives you to like do better and stuff. So like,
or it makes you
gotta have them,
or drives you to drink, and that explains so much. Anyways, that is the podcast. We will see you guys.